What if I tell you that Nigeria have a genius gas power master plan to power the country from east to west, north to south with natural gas?
The benefit of gas.
In today's video, I'm gonna talk about how Nigeria has been very smart and genius about the use of its abundant natural gas reserves to power the country to global relevance.
Nigeria faces significant challenges in meeting its electricity demand. Natural gas plays a pivotal role in addressing these energy challenges. Gas-to-power projects involve using natural gas to generate electricity, transforming resources into power.
For decades, it's been near impossible for Nigeria to get sufficient power for its infrastructural and industrial development. The traditional electricity power plant was just not working. But today, the story is changing.
Energy outlook for Nigeria is growing on daily basis, and in Nigeria we have what we call Decade of Gas Initiative that is charged with the responsibility of exploring avenue of making sure the abundant natural gas resources in our country is used to drive the economy of the nation in the area of transportation, power generation, home driven, as well as for export.
It's not an easy thing to change over a system from oil to a gas-powered system. Gas is capital intensive, and Nigeria were courageous. That's why I call it genius.
At some point, you have to start looking at what are you leaving on the table. And for too long, we've left our most important product on the table. Gas is by far the most important product for mankind. Most countries in the world that are running on advanced countries in the world are running on gas. If you go to the UK, you go into Germany, you go to US, gas comes all the way to your home, not just for the purpose of cooking, also for the purpose of eating. In fact, wars have started around gas. The Ukraine-Russia war is basically around gas. Most of these economies turn on gas. Gas is also very important for the food production systems because you need it for urea production, which is attached to, is a fertilizer that you use on your farm that allows you to improve your food production, cater for your population. The gas is very important for plastic manufacturing. It's a feedstock into your plastics, into your goods item, computer system, even your solar system. Your solar panels is laid on plastic products that are made from gas. We cannot continue to waste our gas resources, which today we are flaring about 30% of it. We are injecting about another 30%. We are only utilizing about 40% of our gas resources.
I know it might be hard to believe that Nigerians have implementable policies that are being followed or that even works. But in this case, it's happening. The Natural Gas Expansion Program is a program designed to boost the use of compressed natural gas, CNG for short, and liquefied petroleum gas, LPG.
There have been various attempts by the federal government to introduce CNG nationally. For the first time in the history of the country, the President and Commander-in-Chief is directly interested in saying that Nigeria transitions properly to the utilization of gas for its transportation sector. But even more so, is that beyond the political will, the resources have been made available for the first time in history to actually see Nigeria transition from the use of crude oil-based products, white fuels, to the use of gas.
And today, we see long gas pipelines moving from gas fields to states all over Nigeria. We have the Estravos-Lagos pipeline, for example, moving from the Niger Delta to industrial hubs and power stations in southwestern Nigeria. We have the Ajaokuta-Kano-Kaduna pipeline due for completion shortly, transporting gas all over northern Nigeria for industrial and power generation. We have the West Africa gas pipeline transporting gas from Estravos to Benin to Togo to Ghana. That pipeline at the moment is undergoing works, and they're even thinking of extending it to wider Africa.
The benefit of gas.
I introduce you to a number of companies that is helping Nigeria expedite its gas master plan.
Our name, Accela, is a convergence of acceleration and excellence, the two words which drive our aspiration to be Africa's foremost gas and power portfolio company.
As an organization, we are firmly committed to industrialization. And this is also in firm alignment with our medium to long-term expansion strategy. Our natural gas offerings provide customers, especially industrial and commercial customers, who rely on huge quantities of fuel for power generation and other processing activities, with a more affordable fuel source.
This is the Falcon Corporation gas station in Odongiyan area of Ikorodu in Lagos State. Here, the company operates as the licensed local distribution company, LDC, for the Ikorodu Natural Gas Franchise Zone. We settled down with the MD, Mr. Joseph Ezigbo.
We came into the scene because we thought it was, I personally thought it was criminal for us to flare up to $4 billion a year. And also the devastation to the environment was something also that didn't agree with my spirit or with my nature. And we set out to try and did documentations. Eventually we got the franchise in 2004. It took quite a while until 2005 before it was perfected. By the end of that year, we delivered gas to about 12 industries at Ikorodu.
Meet the clients Accela Nigeria has serviced and hear for yourself how Nigeria gas power has come into play.
My name is Engineer Dele Abioye, the Managing Director of Boa Foods PLC. Our business, Boa Foods PLC, is food manufacturing. Of course, at the beginning, we were largely in the use of fossil fuels, as it were. And of course, the challenges that we did experience in that space are centered around disruptions in terms of supply, in terms of the quality. Quality in the sense that they are not clean source of energy, as you know. And of course, we had to use this on our generating set as well as our boiler system, which of course brings its own demerits. So there are issues around cost, there are issues around quality, and of course beyond that is also the issue of disruptions in terms of supply chain. So the transition process for us was seamless. Obviously, there is no endeavors of man on earth that doesn't have some challenges, but I think the outcome was much more fruitful as we can see of today. So it was quite seamless in terms of the transition, and we are happy to continue on that path. So what we have seen compared to where we're coming from, it's a cost reduction as much as 35% in terms of cost per kilowatt. That's a very huge advantage. The second point also is that in terms of the disruptions to supplies, we have minimal experience now, which of course then impacts generally on our capacity utilization, which obviously as it stands today, we are doing more than 80% in some of our factories. Also to add that carbon footprint is quite reduced. We are a business that is very sensitive and active in environmental stewardship. It has also come with a secondary cost abatement in terms of our generating sets from the maintenance cost perspective. So natural gas adoption in the future is the way to go. Nothing short of that, to be honest, even though we all see that there are a couple of mixed supplies now in terms of energy supply, but natural gas still remains the front lead in terms of priority. I would personally recommend natural gas to other businesses for very obvious reasons. One, cost. Two, reliability, dependability, and of course, efficiency of the entire process.
I'm George Onofolko. I'm the MD CEO of Coleman Wires and Cable. We're the largest cable company in sub-Saharan Africa. We make wiring cables, power cable transmission, distribution, fiber optics, and also oil and gas specialized cables. in country. Primary sources for us were the grid, which is discos, and diesel generator in the early days. Of course, cost variance were very high. Cost to production was really high, as high as 40-50% of total overhead costs. That didn't literally make long-term business sense to continue to do so. Key thing that motivated us into looking at natural gas really was cost comparative advantage that natural gas cost had over diesel, and in terms of running the diesel generators. We took that decision as far back as 2015. We looked at it earlier, but it was more difficult in the early days because cost per megawatt was a lot higher in the early days prior to 2015. And I think by 2015, the cost per megawatts for power in terms of the gas generators were actually coming down to something within reason. And that's when we took the decision to actually take a first plunge on about 2 megawatts. Then later on, within a year or two, we had increased to 7 megawatts of power. If you look at the capex cost of the initial cost of going to gas, it's not cheap. It's way more expensive than diesel generators. But when you look at the long-term cost versus benefit, you find out you're actually far better off taking the hit now and actually make from the savings and the benefit of what differential between your diesel and your gas, you eventually recover your cost on the near term. Biggest benefit is always really for anybody that is transiting is really cost reduction. If you look at the cost per unit in kilowatt hours for diesel or power and even the grid combined is not anywhere in comparative analysis to you using gas today. From our cost savings perspective, the cost savings to a business at the initial 2015, 2016 level come to about maybe 2019. I think in terms of power savings, you'll be talking about most likely you're having a 60%, 70% cost savings in a conversion of you moving from your diesel to your gas generators. There's been a lot of operational improvement. If you look at from where we've come from, bringing on gas into the pipeline, putting on gas power has created efficiency for companies like ours who are totally off the grid. And when you're off the grid and you're running your gas generators, you're running non-stop on gas. So the efficiency of the power, the efficiency of use, the efficiency of your production process where you don't have power off and on going on, there's no power cut, there's no transition between the power cut and your automatic startup system of your generators and the gap. And the waste generated by each time you're having a power cut in your system is massively taken out of the system and is reduced. So things like that, if you look at those benefits to any business, it's a cost reduction. I would describe the benefit of gas in 3 words as efficiency, value, and long-term benefits.
Nigeria's gas power master plan also extends to high-speed train. This bullet train will not be powered by electricity, but by natural gas. That's a game changer, guys. If Nigeria can fully bring this to life, the whole economy will be transformed.
In a move for Nigeria's infrastructure development, a memorandum of understanding has been signed for the development of an integrated gas and high-speed rail network. This ambitious project promises to transform the nation's energy sector and revolutionize transportation connectivity across the country.
It's a project with potential impact on Nigeria's development, holding prospects for more connected and prosperous Nigeria.
$60 billion proof of fund have just been submitted to the government through our financial and technical partners. And the first phase of the project is a $55 billion. So the fund is ready and the country is ready to move forward.
Nigeria had to think outside the box in this case because it wants to build a 4,000-kilometer high-speed train.
The real amount of money that is available, we don't doubt them, but that is the normal procedure that government takes when huge sums of monies are involved in such transactions.
With the official presentation of the full funding for the project, the first phase is set to kick up, spanning 7 major cities in Nigeria. The federal government, through the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC), has approved the multi-million-dollar business case, paving the way for Nigerians to enjoy high-speed train services for the first time.
So this is a step towards preparing the full business case to be submitted to ICRC before we wrap it to the Federal Executive Council.
So I can assure the investors that they will not be lacking behind in terms of gas, which is the precursor of this very project.
Covering Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, all of these places are serious commercial centers. Nigeria's economy will just go through the roof. This is why the powers that be do not want Nigeria to get itself, because they know it's game over once Nigeria can pull this off and get its act together.
The Senate has passed a bill that would allow states to generate power.
The bill for an act to repeal the Electric Power Sector Reform Act was passed after the consideration of a report of the Committee on Power on the Electricity Bill.
The race is now on for 24-hour electricity, thanks to gas power. Bayelsa State leads the way.
Last year and early this year, Bayelsa State was in total darkness, or simply put, abject darkness for a period of 4 to 5 months. The Bayelsa State government went out of this country and discussed with critical power generating organizations and agencies. And he came back here with the company. And as I'm talking to you now, Bayelsa State is going to be the first state in this country that is going to have 24/7 uninterrupted power supply by December.
In Yenagoa, it's a promise taking shape. Governor Duoye Diri, alongside members of the State Executive Council, inspect progress on the gas turbine installation. An ambitious project aimed at delivering Bayelsa's steady and reliable electricity. The governor emphasizes that the project will reduce dependence on the national grid while fueling industrial growth and economic transformation across the state.
By December, hopefully, even before Christmas, we will have these turbines fired up. For there to be constant electricity, everybody must pay for it.
Experts describe the gas turbine initiative as a bold step towards sustainable energy.
I believe that Nigeria's gas power master plan will totally transform the country, and the world will take note. Please give me a like and subscribe to the channel.